All right, my friends, welcome back to my vlog. I haven't done this in over a year, I think. Easter 24, maybe. So, thought I would update you on some stuff. And first of all, TikTok is going away officially now. At least the US version is going away. And uh, I'm not going to, there's going to be a new US version, M2, which I am not going to join for the same reason I'm not on X. And so if you want to watch my videos, whether they're short or long, you can find me on YouTube. Uh, just subscribe over there and, click like whatever notifications. Um, and you'll get whatever. You can get an email when I post, which is not that often, but I don't know, handful of times a month. So that's what I'm going to be doing instead. Or you can follow me on Instagram. I have two pages on Instagram. One is Joanne Runs on Coffee, which is like my running foodie page. And then I have my regular page, but it's you have to request to follow me on that one. Um, and I'll just let you know that if you follow me on the other one, I'm pretty political. So you want to just follow the Joanne Runs on Coffee one. Uh, anyway, thought I'd give you an update for those people who are wondering where I went. And uh, it's it's been a long time for those of you who followed me. So, in case you don't know, I did leave uh, the church in October of 2023. I resigned as the pastor. And then I think it was November 2024, I turned in my credentials. So I am no longer an ordained elder in the Nazarene Church. I'm just me. Every once in a while, somebody who hasn't seen me in a while will, say, "Hey, Pastor Joanne," and I'm like, "Oh." um, there's still a lot of stuff there that I'm processing. So it's been a couple of years. Anyway, in the meantime, I got my master's degree from Michigan State University, nonprofit leadership. So I am now nonprofit admin. I'm currently the director of operations at a historic church in downtown Detroit. Been there over a year now, and I love it. One of the things I have learned since leaving the church and not being a pastor anymore is that it was just like too public of a position for me. And I know you're like, "Oh, what? You did a podcast and you're doing another podcast," but that's way different. Um, my dog is trying to come in and say hi. Also, excuse this hot mess back here. I'm on vacation now, so I will be cleaning my office. Anyway, I know you're like, but see, podcasts and stuff like this, it's really one on one. Like, I'm really just talking to myself. So it's very different. But what I have learned in this position is that it's a much better balance of people and tasks. Um, and so, as someone who has recently, in the last few years, been diagnosed as ADHD, and I already know I'm an introvert, I discovered, and I have some autistic tendencies. And so, I have found that when I'm with people a lot, I tend to mask a lot to try to look as normal as possible, or as, I should say, as neurotypical as possible. And that's exhausting. And so when you have a really um, just a, a high touch position, like being a lead pastor, it's exhausting. And so this has been a much better fit for me. I have found that, and I could just, I don't know, be myself, and I have a lot more energy, and I feel free. I think that has probably been the biggest um, realization since I left the church, is that especially the pastorate itself, is that I feel a lot more free and I can just be myself. And I would have never said that I wasn't myself. I think especially once I planted a church and was a lead pastor, I would have said, no, this is me. But now that I have left and been there, gone almost 2 years, I realized how much I was masking. So not masking in the sense of pretending to be somebody else as much as masking in the sense of trying to be neurotypical and trying to be an extrovert, which is so exhausting when that's not you, right? When that's not your baseline. So I'm enjoying this. Yes, I did. I'm no longer, I haven't done my old podcast in, well, over a year. But then recently I started a new podcast through my job called Living Faith, Doing Justice, because what else would I talk about? And that's been great. So I'll put a link in the show notes to the other podcast if you want to check it out, because there's some great stuff over there. And I'm looking forward to the new guests that are coming up on this new podcast. It's been great curating this and with the rest of the staff, like saying, hey, try this, or how about this guest, or throwing names my way. So I have this really long list that I'm slowly working through, while of course doing all my other stuff at work. But it's been a lot of fun. The one thing I wish, I'm using this, well, I was trying to record on Teams, but apparently, at least I haven't figured it out yet. If you have like the personal Microsoft version of Teams, it doesn't let you record. So now I'm using Clipchamp, and Clipchamp doesn't let you put green screens on the back unless you have like a literal green screen. So come on, Microsoft, get with the times here. You are like way behind. So the other thing that Clipchamp doesn't let you do is it doesn't let you pause. So if you've ever recorded on Zoom, you can hit the pause button and stop recording or pause recording and think about, hey, what am I going to talk about next? And then start it again. So on Clipchamp, you can just sit here and you have to look off into space, and then you just have to edit that part out. Anyway, this is the unedited version. Okay, so let's see. What if I said I was going to talk about TikTok, which I did, and my change in vocations, which I did. And then the other thing people have asked me about is church. It was church. Church was my life. I had a spiritual awakening in my early 20s. And for the first several years, I went to a Catholic church. And then my husband, anyway, we started looking for another church because my husband wanted to go somewhere else. And there were a lot of reasons. Anyway, we ended up in an evangelical church, aka the Nazarenes. And we were there for quite a while. And then I became an ordained minister. And so I was a pastor for 20 years. And I'm just going to confess that I was one of those judgy people who was like, oh, you left the church because they hurt you, and now you just don't go anywhere. I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody I either was like judging towards, or, I hope I didn't say it out loud. My face probably gave me away, but whatever. Because I get it now, right? I mean, it just does something to you internally that it's not just, oh, I got hurt and I need to process this grief and pain. And then, no, if I never enter the church doors of an evangelical church again in my life, it'll probably be too soon. And of course, the political climate doesn't do anything for you guys. Just FYI, in case you were wondering, the current political landscape is not helping your case, Mr. and Mrs. Evangelical. Um, and so now my husband's staring at me.
Are you in a meeting?
I'm not in a meeting. I'm recording a vlog.
You're what?
I'm recording a vlog.
You're doing a vlog?
Yeah. How's your cheesecake?
Huh?
How's your cheesecake?
It was very big.
Well, you don't have to eat it all in one set sitting. You did, didn't you?
And it was very big, sir. I'm getting in the shower.
Okay, but can you shut the door? Because then I can hear your TV show behind me. Um, I'm going to have to pause and close the door. Why I record podcasts when everybody's gone. Um, okay, back to church. So uh, I occasionally go to church where I work. This week is the Feast of the Assumption, which is a holy day of obligation. So I'll be there. Although, no, wait, not this week. This week I'm on vacation. The following week, although I'm supposed to get my hair cut, I didn't put that on my calendar before. I have to start putting the holy days of obligation on my calendar because I forget and then I schedule stuff like I'm going to get my hair cut. Anyway, so I go occasionally, usually when there's some kind of a event ish going on. So, like the end of August, we have Jazz Mass. So, if you don't know, here in Detroit, the Jazz Festival is always at the end of August. No, yes, at the end of August. And so we will have Jazz Mass on that Sunday, August 31st this year. If you're local, you want to come. And several of the musicians who are playing in the festival will come and play on Sunday morning. So it's just a lot of fun. I think there's like 15 to 30 minutes ahead of time they're playing before Mass even starts. And then, like, all the hymns and stuff are very jazzed up because it's the Jazz Mass. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I went last year, um, so I'll be going again. So, like, this is one of the things that people want to know right now. Like, every time I go see somebody who I haven't seen in a while, so where are you going to church? That's the first thing they ask me. And then what they don't say, but like they try to ask me, but they don't know how to ask me. Basically, they want to know, do you still believe in Jesus? I plead the fifth. Just kidding. Um, I still believe in Jesus. I still believe in God. Um, but it's extremely nuanced, and I'm trying to figure out what that nuance looks like. I will say, working with the Jesuits has been extremely helpful because, man, they're like incredible intellects, but they're also mystics. Um, and it just gives you room, it gives you wiggle room, right? Um, it also helped uh, that, well, it just helps that they're educated, let's just say that. Uh, and they believe in science. So that has helped me in my journey to figure out where I'm at. Now, what people really want, or I should say, what evangelicals want, right, is they want me to nail it down, like the specifics, of what I believe and don't believe. And half of it has nothing to do with scripture. So let's just say I'm much more progressive. But I do want to talk to those of you who really are interested. If you're not interested in this part, just whatever. I mean, you don't have to watch any of it. I mean, you don't really have to do anything except die and pay taxes. And obviously, taxes are optional for some people. So in 2019, I really strongly felt like I was supposed to leave the church. Um, and I think at that time, I at that time, I had at least convinced myself that I was just supposed to leave the church where I was on staff. Um, I think I was actually supposed to leave the church altogether. Um, and like in my mind and in my strategizing and my goal planning, things I didn't really in my journal, things I don't tell everybody. Uh, I was making a plan to leave and to find another way to do quote unquote ministry, as the evangelicals would say. And then of course the pandemic hit. So being the good, um, loyal person that I am, I said, well, okay, I'll stick it out. I mean, who abandons their congregation during a pandemic? Lots of people, apparently. Anyway, uh, so I stuck it out, and honestly, I I left 3 years too late, um, and so I think that really, I mean, there were some good things that came out of it. I think of me staying, but there were also some not so good things. Um, and it's hard to say, right? Because like as I'm listening to more and more people, especially scientists, they're like, "Hey, there's no such thing as free will," which of course, the irony is I was in a denomination that really believes in free will. But anyway, that's a whole another topic for another day. So yeah, I do think I was supposed to, but at the same time, I do believe that God redeems all things. Now, I will tell you, for the last 2 years, I have questioned whether or not God redeems all things. And yet, in the last couple of months, specifically the last month, there have been so many things where I was like, oh, you were listening. You do redeem all things. Um, so that's something I'm holding on to, I guess. Um, so yeah, I guess I wanted to say that there was a part of me that really does believe I should have left in 2019. So you got 4 more years out of me. For those of you who are still mad, and then there are others of you who are like, "You would have made our lives better if you left in 2019." So anyway, that's the update for right now. Uh, I have let my hair go natural, in case you didn't figure that out. Um, and so all of the red is gone, except for these little blotches that my hairdresser helps me with. Will I go back to coloring my hair completely to the making it look like it was when I was 40 or 35? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Um, it's so much easier. Let's just say that. It's so much easier. So, hey, I am going to do some more vlogging down the road, probably, I don't know, once or twice a month. So, if you have any questions for me, put them in the show notes. Comment on my video, and I will see if I can do a video on it. Yeah, that's my life update. Thanks for joining me. Happy August 2nd.